Welcome, everyone. Episode 8 of the Cow Corner. Let's go. The three guys are here again.
Ooh, it's already episode 8.
It is already episode 8. We are seeing a good number of views for us, or listen, I should say, not views. Really encouraging. So looks like everyone is enjoying listening to fans. Three guys who wants to talk cricket with each other. So today's episode actually is we're going to look at T20 World Cup, some highlights, some news, some breaking news, some not so breaking news. And also there were some prep series that were in place, hopefully for those teams to be ready for the upcoming World Cup. So, and again, it's still Prashant, it is still Jatan, and still Siddharth here. Just one change though. Last time my butt was getting frozen. This time I am in sunny California. 80 degrees, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, my butt
Yeah,
is still
it's
getting frozen here, so don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
still I still don't understand what you guys are talking about.
yeah, loving it. Actually, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly, to see people like out in the beach in the month of February. It's just really annoying.
Yeah,
And I just like hate this place, but I guess it's still fun to see other people having fun. So, on that note, a lot of fun is going on T20 World Cup.
Yeah, I think we should address the elephant in the room, right? Let me go first. So just last night, just last night, the Pakistan government has asked its team to forfeit the match against India, which is being played in Colombo. Now, I think
Well, that I
uh,
mean, they would have lost anyways, so who cares?
maybe that's why they're forfeiting, right? But really, if we think
Yeah.
about it a bit more seriously, right? I mean, they're going to play all the rest of the tournament. So earlier there was this confusion about they not playing the tournament at all, which obviously I thought was just them delaying things. But this is interesting that they are not going to play the most lucrative game from money perspective also, and obviously from the interest of the fans.
anticipated
Yeah,
game.
and the
Yeah.
most anticipated game, right? So okay, so the first thing is that PCB hasn't come out with anything as of now. I just checked the news a few minutes back, but they will obviously probably support or go with what their government's saying. Pakistan government, PCB also have a history of going back on their words. Their players have always retired and come back, so don't count that out either. But this looks
That's
a
like
little more.
Tom Brady. That's like Tom Brady.
Yeah, this looks like, but this I feel looks more serious.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't seem like a bluff, right? What are
yeah,
they
it
Yeah.
doesn't
really
seem.
doing?
It's gonna have a lot of fallout. We try to kind of skip these issues, political issues, on our podcast because we are not really interested talking about it. We'd rather like keep talking about a Virat Kohli or a Babar Azam cover drive. But unfortunately, this is too important to ignore. And yeah, we are discussing politics here. But yeah, I think the problem that's going to happen is this is going to kind of break up the cricketing world, I feel, into two. Maybe Pakistan, maybe Bangladesh will get isolated a bit, right?
Hmm.
We don't know, but this will have fallout. Immediate might be ICC is not going to take it lying down, right? So BCCI, the Indian Cricket Board, has a lot of clout, no doubt, right? With the amount of money they bring in,
Yeah.
their relationship with the PCB obviously is not good, but overall ICC, I don't think even countries like England and Australia and South Africa will like this behavior. So let's get ready for some fallout. But this is pretty unfortunate what's happening.
So do you think this is like a tipping point, right? Because when things are going on, sometimes we feel it's one off, it's this and that, and then things tip.
Yeah, it is.
I mean that kind of sucks because as we had discussed before, right, is I wish we could just create this bubble. And again, every time I think about this, I realize how naive it might sound. It's like, but we want to talk about, we want all cricketers to be able to just play the sport. But at the end of the day, you're still playing for a nation. So how do you balance that? So I'm just curious whether this is a tipping point.
It is, and it's not the first time that's happened. Not just in cricket, but even in the Olympics or whatever. Right, 1980 Olympics was also something which was really not
Yeah.
attended by a lot of countries. So it's not the first time. It's not going to be the last. But I really
Mm.
feel this time, right? It seems kind of forced. It seems
Yeah,
pre-planned in some way.
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for me, even for that, like, the announcement came via Twitter, I believe, right? I think the PCB or the Pakistani government tweeted out that they would not play India in Colombo, and there was no explanation given for
Hey,
why
dude,
that was the case.
that's the new style these days, right?
Yeah,
All
that's a
the
new
all the
style these days.
government and the big people are just
Yeah.
tweeting now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I
Twitter,
hear you
using
though.
Twitter is not the problem. The problem is that they didn't give any explanation.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
I'm with
I
you.
think that's what the other countries are gonna take exception to, that each one of these major countries is responsible for promoting this tournament, right? They're
Yeah.
responsible for selling the tickets for fans. They're responsible for selling, ICC stamped jerseys to fans, right? Like they're very integral in the promotion of this tournament. So, I
Mm.
think just from the cricket standpoint, like for the sake of the game, this is just bad.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm sure there'll be. This is probably not the last of it. We still have a few days,
Yeah.
still
Yep.
5 more days to start. So we'll see
Mm.
how it goes, and maybe we'll bring this up again in our next session. But yeah, I mean, pretty unfortunate. The other big news, which would have been pretty big if not for this one, is Cummins is
Yep.
out of the World Cup. Right,
Wow.
Yep.
Cummins. Yeah, he was not fit enough to be part of the World Cup. Australia has been managing him since the start of the Ashes. Right, we've talked about it
Yeah.
in a couple of sessions. They didn't play him because the series was in the bag, and they kind of tried sacrifice some of the Ashes matches
Yeah.
because they wanted Cummins to be in. So that's a pretty big blow for Australia. Their captain and premier fast bowlers out. Must be some really serious stuff there. It
Mm.
actually, since he's not playing this marquee tournament, I'm not sure what's the future, right? For he might have to take an extended time off. Does he come back as good as before? Cummins has had injury issues. I mean, when he was much younger, but I thought it was all past, put it behind him. But this looks serious. Not playing the
Yeah.
T20 World Cup is pretty serious. After all the things that they did to take care. Yeah.
Now, actually, I'm just thinking that if Australians are coming in with like a weakness, maybe other teams should be a little more worried because they will be even more focused to
Ah,
like, last time we
interesting.
talked about this is like how they rely on these big players, but they don't. I mean, they
Hmm.
have a plan B and C and D. They are A as in Australia, but they have plan C and D. So I would actually worry about like would they, not I mean I don't as an individual don't care, but the other teams will be like, oh my God, they're coming in as potentially underdogs. Now we are in trouble. So what else?
Finally, another big thing, and which should concern you guys because you live there. So the USA cricket team star player Aaron
What's this
Jones.
you guys?
You guys are but freezing your butt off in America, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Aaron Jones has been provisionally suspended by the ICC for 5 breaches of anti-corruption code. Looks like in some of the matches, the charges related to fixing in various leagues and international matches. It's not even a single instance. I think
Hmm.
there are 5 different instances of fixing or some kind of anti-corruption. So it's interesting, the fixing thing, right? The law exactly. I mean, I don't want to go into too much detail, but obviously the first thing is if somebody approaches you, you obviously don't have to engage, right? So that's one thing. I think there was some engagement also. I'm not sure though. But the other thing which also can get you in trouble as a player is being passive to it, in the sense if you get an approach by a bookie or whatever, you
Yeah.
have to report that to the
Mm.
anti-corruption team or whatever, right? Every tournament has that individual or team which does that, and if you fail to report that, that also constitutes as
Hmm.
a breach. So that was also a case here that was also not reported. So multiple such instances, and he was said to be their vice captain, right?
Yeah.
So a good batsman up at the top. And also, I don't think the team USA needed any more scandals, right? The issues with their cricket association have long been documented. While they have a very steady captain and some really good players, they also had this issue about some visa troubles, right, which
Yeah.
hopefully are sorted
Yeah.
out. But yeah, now this other thing, it's going to be hard for them to focus completely. It'll be interesting how they perform. If they still can make something happen, hats off to them. But yeah, this is not good.
What's the impact on the group they are in? Because we were talking about they having, creating upsets and doing stuff. You think anything significant is going to really change that? Because remember, we talked about they maybe making it to Super 8 and going further. So this opens up door for someone else, or
I think now the group A becomes the the group C, which is the group of chaos, right? Because Pakistan not wanting to play the India match
yeah,
means that their run rate takes a big hit, right? Okay, so that's the other thing about this, right? If Pakistan does not play the match against India, they forfeit the points, sure, but they also get a hit on their net run rate. So it will be as if Pakistan got bowled out on zero, and
zero.
India didn't use a ball to make the run, right? So it's like yeah, you get how the run rate is calculated, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, it's bad for them, right? And now with that, if Netherlands, again, the first game is with Netherlands, right?
yeah.
Even if even if they lose, they beat the Netherlands, but if there are some other situations where if India wins all their matches, right, and if so Pakistan has lost one, and if say Netherlands or some other team has lost only one, right, net run rate will definitely be not in favor of Pakistan. So that's the one thing about that's the fallout of the forfeit.
Hmm.
USA, I feel, is slightly weaker because of this. Not just that they lose Jones, but also because not sure how the other players will handle this. Of course, they're professionals, but you never know. So yeah, I mean, the group does open up a bit, but
Yeah,
it's
very
still
interesting.
Pakistan's group to lose. Yeah. And what happens if they make it to the semis or whatever, and they play India again, right? So yeah, will they forfeit that game?
I'm laughing, but it's like one of the famous movies in Bollywood says there's drama and tragedy in this. Yeah.
I think the only other thing right now that I've seen, I think a couple of the Canadian, or sorry, Scottish players, like Pakistani-born Scottish players, were able to get their visas. So
Mm.
that's good for them.
Some positive
Yeah,
news.
and Tilak hopefully should be fit for the T20 World Cup. So we'll see if India chooses to make a switch at their wicketkeeper batsman opener with Kishan in such good form,
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
Like he's in
awesome.
such good form. How can you justify benching him? But then on the other side, Sanju Samson has been groomed for this role for the last 2 years. So how could you justify benching him? Is that just like fallacy, right? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
I
sunk
know.
cost fallacy.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
um, I mean, I think Ishan has totally played his way into the side, right? So I think he deserves to play, honestly.
Yeah, so I guess lot of, as we were saying at the top of the show, there are several practice series, fine-tuning series, whatever we want to call it, have been going on, and we're going to look at a few of them.
Yeah, I think the other series will go through, but those series probably were more to try out a few combinations. But the India New Zealand series was actually a pretty high octane set, and I think both the teams pretty much did not do a lot of changes. They used their core to actually make them battle ready for the for the tournament. So that's why I think it was a very well fought, and I mean it was the series score was 4-1, so it probably looks very dominant for India, and it was dominant to a large extent, but it doesn't tell the whole story, right? It was kind of less of a bilateral series, more of a high-stake audition for the World Cup, and
Hmm.
so India did take an unassailable 3-0 lead at the start, but then New Zealand showed they're great, right, to snatch the fourth game. And by fifth game, the Indian batting machine was just operating at a different level. So India crossed actually 200 in 3 out of the 5 games, right? So that's something which bodes well for their batting. And even the game that they won, the fourth one, the third match, I think, they won with 10 overs because they were chasing 150 and they did it in 10 overs. They were definitely destined for much more than 200. So yeah, I think pretty solid batting there. If you go game by game quickly, right? So Abhishek Sharma set the tone for the first game. With India making 238 with a mass loss of 84 or 35. Sky looked sharp. We were all worried about how his form is going to be, but he kind of resolved that.
Of course we did.
Hardik also looked in good touch. New Zealand's chase never really got off, and then once they lost Conway in the first over, so that was a pretty straightforward win for India. The second game, where India was chasing 208, New Zealand did bring a massive score, but again they lost the first couple of wickets cheaply. But then Ishan Kishan.
First ball of the innings, right? Abhishek Sharma out. First ball.
That was Abhishek's first ball, yeah. I mean, and also Samson did hit a six, which was actually a dropped catch, so it was 6 for 2. And then yeah, but Ishan Kishan and again Sky, 82 of 37. They just dismantled the Kiwi attack. Sky basically again announcing himself that he's back. And if that wasn't enough, he again did some spectacular batting in the fifth game, but we'll get to that. Game 3 was all about Bumrah. I mean, he was coming back from his break.
Unbelievable.
He didn't play the first 2 games, but the first ball he bowled, and he's not opening the bowling, which is interesting. Maybe we can briefly discuss about that. But the first ball he bowled, I think it was the 6th over or 5th over. He got ciphered with an absolute beauty. The first ball, right? He got 3 for 17 in that match, so it looks like he's getting into form. And India chased down 153, but the fourth game, right, just when we thought that there was a whitewash coming, New Zealand reminded us why they're the smartest guys in the room. Seifert batted well, and he probably kind of cemented his place as the opener for New Zealand. With Conway probably not making the cut anymore. He made a brilliant 62 of 36, led them to 215. And then India did try a few different things in that game. They were a batter shot. They had a bowler extra. So they didn't play Ishan Kishan in that game. So definitely being a batter shot probably may or may not have helped. But yeah, India were never in the chase really. The silver linings were Rinku and Dubey batting decently in that game, especially Dubey. And finally, in the last game, if there were any doubts, the Indian batting made sure that there were no doubts. The batting went nuclear. Samson failing again, and we'll probably go into detail on that. Ishan Kishan, 103 out of 42 balls. Sky.
Ishan
Yeah.
Kishan. See, every time we say Ishan Kishan, I have to say this because Siddharth had
I
said
know.
that many
We're all,
times. We always, both he and I, we are like,
yeah,
Ishan
I
Kishan.
hear the Mumbai Indian
Yeah,
fans
yeah.
in that. But yeah, again, and Sky 63 again, right? So Sky scored 350s in this game, in this series. Those New Zealand had a silver. Obviously, when you are chasing 270 odd, it's hard to even feel confident that you could chase it. But Allen did a great job, tried a lot, 80 or 38. So I think that's what I was suggesting in the previous when we were discussing the groups, that they should probably bring in Finalen. I think he's suited for this kind of pitches. And he
Yeah.
actually, the one game he got, he scored an 80 of 38. At one point, it seemed they were in control, but 271 is just a bridge too far usually. And also, Arshdeep got a fifer. Obviously, it was a high-scoring game, so Bumrah had an off day. He went over 50. I've never seen that happen before. And Arshdeep also gave a lot of runs, but got a fifer. So you expect that, but at the end of it, again, a very comfortable win. So overall, India look very strong here, right? I think most of the boxes are ticked. And I think from New Zealand point of view, even though they lost 4 games, but I think they got a really good
Yeah.
practice here, right? I think
Correct.
against any
Correct.
other team,
Yep.
they would have probably won more than one game. If just that India are in red
Correct.
hot form, hope that it continues till the end of the tournament.
I mean, it's interesting, right, Jatan? I mean, just to use a phrase that's used often is it's okay to lose some battles to
Yeah.
win the war. So for them, it
No,
wasn't about the priority couldn't be just to win the series because what does it mean? It means
nothing.
like
Exactly.
nothing. So you need to be ready. So as we said at the top of the show, all these series are really to be ready for the World Cup, period. I mean, you could lose 5-0, who cares? If you get answers to some of your challenges, line up, that's really what you want to get out of it, right? That's so India did that, hopefully. I know, give Bumrah giving 50 runs, law of averages. Now maybe that'll help him getting into the
Yeah, he might be
again,
trying a
not
few
getting
things
into
which he
this thing.
would want to, right? So you
Correct,
don't
correct.
know.
Who
Yeah.
cares? Who cares? It's all good.
Right.
It's all good.
Cool.
Siddharth, we haven't heard from you in a little bit, so what's
I
up,
mean, you
man?
guys were talking. What do you mean? So we can just start with winners, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, clearly the winner has
Yeah.
got to be Ishan, the pocket rocket, Mr. Dynamite.
Pocket
I mean,
rocket.
he just has to play in the World Cup. I mean, how do you keep that guy out of the lineup?
You can't. You
Um,
shouldn't.
that's all there needs to be said about it. He needs to be playing every game. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, most of the times I just don't like how we do our selections, rather how India does their selections. But for once, I'm really happy that they went back to a player who was,
Yeah.
for all reasons, like probably not on the radar at all. And then he goes back, makes a lot of runs, inspires his team to win the Syed Mushtaq Ali, and just breaks the door down again.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy. I just hope such things like these also happen with, say, a Sarfraz in Test match cricket, or again Mohammad Shami in Test match cricket. So
Yeah.
you should not really close the door down for anybody, right? I mean, yes, you need to look into the future, but you should also see who's your best player for a particular position or the team, right? So I'm glad
Yeah.
that they got him back.
So let me, as usual, I get assigned the losers segment.
Oh, come on.
Unfortunately, I would say Sanju Samson. I mean, and for some reason, I mean, I really individually love this player. His body language, the way I mean, I am honestly was rooting for him when he got the opportunity. But if you look at the run scorers, I mean, he would in 5 matches he scored like 40 odd runs. So
Yeah,
it's a this is a huge gap for him
yeah.
to cover. So I would say like I really feel Sanju Samson is going to lose out here clearly.
Yeah. I mean, you can always talk about like recency bias, like
Yeah.
as always playing a factor. Like teams maybe they prepared for Sanju Samson and they didn't prepare for Ishan Kishan, and Ishan Kishan had
Oh,
that edge, right? The
yeah,
unexpected,
yeah.
the surprising edge.
Hmm.
So I mean, I think though that like if Samson had at least had one or two innings, one inning maybe where he got going,
Yeah,
um,
24 odd.
that would have made it more difficult. But yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I think you just got to bench him, sadly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right
and
now.
the signs are there, right? In the fifth game during the chase, Ishan Kishan was
Keeping.
wearing the gloves. He kept, right? So
Yeah.
Samson has kept in the
Actually,
last four
ju
matches.
Right,
just
So
like
right,
just
right.
like tangent, slight tangent here. Last time Siddharth had asked I think his umpire's call. Siddhi, what was your umpire's call last time? Do you remember?
Yeah, yeah. Well, 500 runs in a game.
And
oh yeah,
and
Was it 500? It was
almost
slightly below,
no,
right?
almost 4 runs
almost like
below
510,
496.
almost there, right?
Now let's get it in the tournament. Lock it in.
And the
Yeah,
other
that
one
was
also was 300 in an inning, which
in an innings. Yeah,
also
yeah.
at some point
Wow.
looked possible. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
England and Sri Lanka are now playing a three-game T20 series after their ODI series that England was able to win 2-1. So a lot of the question marks that we had during the England squad preview, especially in regards to their spinners slash all-rounders and how
Hmm.
they would be used, were kind of answered. They played a fairly consistent team across the two T20s that have happened so far. In the first match, they were able to bowl out Sri Lanka for 133 in a shortened match due to DLS. So at this, both games actually were affected by DLS, sadly. So we didn't get the full picture of how these two teams are going to look over 20 overs. So yeah, as I mentioned, game one, Sri Lanka bowled out for 133 in 16.2 overs out of 17 overs. So I think Adil Rashid was the star of this game. 3 for 19. He's been bowling extremely slow through the air. And I think the reasoning for that might be because of the googly and also just the extra turn that he's going to get from the pitch when he bowls at that speed. So these tracks were extremely spin heavy as well. So that was another interesting facet of the series so far. And then England kind of chased down because the game had to be ended again at the 15th over. So they were 10 runs ahead of the DLS par score at that point. So they ended up winning that game. And Salt and Tom Benton were the two main batsmen of that chase. Then moving on to the second match. Sri Lanka actually put up a decent total of 189 for 5, and on that wicket, that seemed like a pretty, defendable target. The score was a bit misleading because England actually ended up bowling 17 extras. So that's in a T20 match. That is an extremely high number of extras.
How did they manage 17 extras?
So Jofra bowled. I think he definitely bowled 1 5 wide. So that definitely affected that. But still, 17 extras is a lot. And actually, Sri Lanka showed that their top order, when they all fire, can actually score runs quickly. So all Nisanka, Mendes, and Rathnayake did, that was great. They just need to replicate that. But again, their middle order, Dasun Chanaka, not able to find any form. But the way he got out was it was to a half tracker that stayed low, but was also a googly. And he played you could see that he played for the leg spin, and he just completely missed it. And it was like an absolute terrible delivery, and it was just terrible. That was just terrible, honestly. But then England also had a bit of a wobble at the top with Salt and Bethel departing cheaply. And once again, Bethel seems like he's cemented that number 3 spot in England's setup. And Butler seems like he's going to be opening as well. But I think the star of this game was, in one part, Tom Benton playing, that classical number 4 role of getting in when there's a little bit of pressure and just absorbing the pressure very well, but also bringing a really good counter-attacking flair with his reverse sweeps, especially those reverse sweeps for sixes he was playing. It was really remarkable, him and Butler's reverse sweeping. But then Harry Brook, once again, showing 36 for 12 in the run chase to get England ahead of the game.
At number 5.
That's why I picked him as my MVP last
Yeah,
time.
so brilliant ball striking by England. And again, this game was again shortened to 17 overs. And England actually ended up winning with 2 balls to spare. So it did go down to the wire. And yeah, it seems like England is set with Harry Brook at 5, Bethel at 3, and Jax is sadly going to be coming more down the order.
Who's their finisher? Is Brook the finisher?
That leads me to my next point actually very well, because there actually aren't any quintessential power hitters on this team. Well, I would say Phil Salt is probably their biggest power hitter, interestingly. All of their players have unique shot making ability, innovative shot making ability, and just raw talent. When they time a cricket ball, if you guys haven't seen Harry Brook's innings from that match, just look at the way he was just hitting those sixes over cover and point. Just absolute disdain for the bowlers, zero respect, marching down the track, making room, showing the stumps, slapping it. It was unbelievable. So
he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then for Sri Lanka, I think in the second match, their top order competed really, really well. And I think on the flip side, England's pacers are pretty kind of average. Even Jofra was quite expensive. His first over, I believe, went for 20 runs. So not a good sign there. And then, of course, their spinners, they've just not been taking enough wickets. Hasaranga only had one wicket across the two matches. Velalage, I think, also only had two or three wickets across the two matches. So that's just not going to get it done. I mean, I know the games were a bit shortened as well. So England only ended up batting 32 overs out of the 40. So that affects it definitely, but still is not good enough by Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Hasaranga's form is a concern. If Sri Lanka has to do well, Hasaranga has to step up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He
he's
needs to take a
he's
lot of wickets. Yeah.
so interestingly, Siddharth, when you were saying um shorten games matches, right? Again,
Yeah.
one of my pet peeves, and I have many pet peeves. I do not like DLS. I
Yeah.
don't like DLS at
Yep.
all. I mean, again, then somebody would ask me, okay, then Prashant, what solution do you have? I don't
I'm
have
going
a
to ask that.
solution.
I was
No,
going to ask that.
I know, Jatan. Come on, let's stop being
Pragmatist.
logical all the time. I don't like DLS. That
So,
makes no
just on
sense.
that point, England batted second in both of these matches, and in shortened games, batting second is actually a very big advantage.
Because correct, true.
Yeah, because as batting first, you don't actually have a good idea of what a good score is, and then you also have a lot of pressure to go hard. If you're only playing 15 overs.
After what we have seen in the 1992 World Cup with South Africa having to make
Oh,
23 runs in one ball or
like
whatever,
one
or
ball.
13, yeah. I think DLS is doing much better. So I'm just looking at what was the flip side of the different other rules.
So, Siddharth, one other thing you mentioned, Harry Brook at 5, and I saw Jatan actually make a face because we had talked about what should be the position
Yeah.
for Harry Brook to
So
come
in
at.
in a way, I think Brook at five gives him more freedom to play his shots than at three, right? So in that
Yeah.
way, it makes sense. And I don't think actually any of the four batsmen in front of him, maybe they're not expected to play 40, 50 deliveries in the match, right? Like
Hmm.
Josh Butler maybe is the one guy you think is gonna go deep in the game. Phil
Hmm.
Salt, he's there for a short, like explosive time, right? Like he's not gonna be there for 40, 50 deliveries. Bethel, like again, he's inexperienced, so he's not going to be able to like. I don't
Hmm.
expect him to score centuries at number three, right? But he's going to be explosive as
If
well.
this is their thought process, then I don't think they're playing to win. Very, very defensive. If they are not expected to make the runs or be around for a long time, what if Brook fails, right? What's the plan B? Plan A extends till number 5.
Yeah.
What's the plan B? You can't pivot to plan B when you're 5 down or 3 down or what, 4 down.
The weird part is in a game where the openers go deep, do they just send Brook at three and push Bethel down? I guess they can do that. So
Actually, they could
I'm
do
sure
that.
the batting, like it'll be more situation dependent, but yeah, I mean it's kind
Fair,
of weird to
fair.
list him as five.
Yeah, Brook has to come at the 5th over.
I mean, again, the point though, Siddharth, when you were describing this, I could feel that this series, right? All these series is, and I'm going to get to West Indies, South Africa in a bit. They both those teams potentially used it to tune things, especially England. Sri Lanka maybe still more answers, more questions than answers, but I think England did, right? It seems that way that they got some.
Yeah, I mean they played a pretty consistent team in both games, so I think they know what their team is at this point.
The other series was West Indies, South Africa. I mean, South Africa won 2-1, and in again, DLS played a role, a bit of a role in one of them. The consolation win that West Indies had. South Africa actually scored more runs than the other, but the DLS changed this DLS thing is just like
I was
ridiculous.
going to ask, how did West Indies manage to win? But okay, that answers.
Seriously, but DLS, right? That helped them. What's interesting is this, okay? If you look at the highest run scorer in this three match series, who do you think was the highest run scorer?
De Kock.
No, Hetmeyer,
Oh
actually,
yeah,
believe it or
that makes
not.
sense.
So that I would say a plus for West Indies because
Mm-hmm.
he is really a really strong hitter. Hetmeyer is. I was thinking like did they not play their full squad, but they did play their full squad
Yeah.
actually. And interestingly, in one of those chases when South Africa chased down 221. I think
Mm-hmm.
easily with like both those matches they won, they won it by more than like 2 overs to spare. So
Yeah.
they didn't even break a sweat, except Markram and Rickleton in
Mm-hmm.
one of those matches were actually sweating it out, meaning they were running. They were not just hitting big shots.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually doing a lot of those twos and threes. And they made it the chase to look so easy. And Markram's, I think, strike rate was like 180 in that match, but it didn't seem like he was taking any effort. So if you remember, I had picked him potentially could be one of the game changers or an MVP, right, from those top three. I mean, I really like Markram. So
Markram's good,
again,
and his spin will be important in the point.
Yeah.
so speaking about spin, you had mentioned South African spinners, right? So Maharaj, Keshav Maharaj was the highest wicket taker. Linde or Lind, I don't know how
Lind,
you
yeah.
pronounce. Lind was the second. So I think he did. So he,
Okay.
as a spinner, I think he did well. I'm pretty sure he was the second. If you look at the top 10 bowlers in that series, seven were from South Africa and three from West Indies. So when I was watching even one of those matches, you realize that they didn't really have any variation in their attack. West Indies is so
Hmm.
what's and we had talked about that as their weakness in bowling because they have players who can actually hit it out a lot. And Shy Hope,
I hope.
Shy Hope, exactly. Hope is not a strategy, but Shy Hope could be. Yeah, he didn't do that well, but I mean at the end of the day, it's still practice matches. I just thought that South Africa did everything they could to be fully ready. West Indies still is kind of, uncertain, especially from bowling attack side. I did see, I think in the spinners, Gudakesh, I think did well also. So maybe, from a spinner perspective, maybe West Indies got something out of it. But even though they won the third match, because it was shortened, and even though South Africa actually scored more runs than them in those 10 overs, but I guess you two guys know how DLS work. I just don't.
No,
But I
no,
think
Nobody
nobody
does.
knows how
no,
it
no, I
works.
it's a secret sauce.
Yeah,
So
it's just that before it was only Duckworth Lewis, now it is DLS. So they did some
yes,
change. Some other
exactly.
guy came and did something. By the way, India in Indian domestic they use a different
Algorithm.
algorithm.
Mm.
Yeah,
But I think South Africa, West Indies, South Africa won 2-1. They look like the team who would have won. All that their top order did well. Rickleton and De Kock and Markram fired. And but
Brevis as
I was
well.
yep, exactly. Yep. Because Siddharth, I remember you had ran through their lineup and it is frightening.
the other series between Australia and Pakistan was a bit of a strange series, right?
Yeah.
So
What a strange
on
series.
paper, Pakistan won 3-0, and the second and third games they won by like almost 100 runs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
sure.
on paper, yeah, Pakistan is in really good space, and Australia is down in the dumps. Babar made a 50, but still not as fast as you would want. But I guess you just have to accept that that's how he's going to play. There were a few bright spots. I think Zampa took some wickets for Australia, but I think the interesting thing was what's Australia doing? I'm not able to understand. Right? What are they doing? So I think firstly, they didn't take their full strength side. Right? They didn't
Yeah.
have Cummins, Hazelwood, or Ellis. Right? Which I think Ellis will be probably their most impactful bowler. I feel so. They didn't take them. These are the last three games that you're going to play. So at least have the full strength side in one of them. Right? But they rotated the players. Right? Sure. Some of the names that I feel would be interesting, like Connolly didn't really bat well,
Yeah.
but not sure what Australia was doing. It's like, yes, Cummins not being there is a blow. At the end of the day, it does matter that you're winning some games, right? And then Australia, I think, chose to just totally try out combinations, do their practice, not worry about the result. Sure, maybe that's a strategy that they went with, but having some wins under your belt before starting a marquee tournament also helps. It definitely gives Pakistan a lot of momentum. Um, Going into the first game against Netherlands, they will be confident that they've beaten Australia 3-0. So that kind of works in their favor, especially with probably the forfeiture with India. And for Australia, sure, they may think that that was just practice, but if you're coming into a tournament losing 3 games on the trot in similar conditions with a lot of your players,
Yeah,
it does make it a bit interesting. Though Australia's group is probably very
yeah.
straightforward, they would definitely qualify. But yeah, it's maybe they just maybe that's what they thought. But yeah, I would have expected them to win more than 0 games.
Nothing succeeds like success, right? In a way, you want to be ready before you get into a big
I
tournament.
mean, I think we kind of glossed over Pakistan a little bit. Like, I think this was a very impressive performance by their top order, especially Salman Agha, bringing in Babar Azam in that four, right? It seems like their batting lineup can bat till 7 or 8. Shadab Khan is coming in at 8, if you think about it, right? So very deep batting order. Return of Shaheen Shah Afridi as well. That's
Yeah.
another kind of interesting facet here.
He was injured,
And
right? Siddharth? Wasn't he recovering from an injury?
yes, so he's back. So that's good. They seem like they're also fielding well for the first time in a long time. They seem like they're a very confident side in the field. And actually, I think that's because of their captain. So Salman Agha is actually one of the best fielders in the world, especially in the slips. And I have a feeling that he has inspired a lot of these players to take fielding a lot more seriously than Pakistan has in the past. So I
Yeah.
think Pakistan should be taking like Mama said. You said they should be taking confidence. I think
Hmm.
this is. I mean, these were some comprehensive victories. They bowled out
Yeah,
Australia
they are.
for 108 and 96 in the second and third T20s. I mean,
Wow.
whoa,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Interesting.
That's what
Yeah.
it's hard to read through. The obvious thing is that yes, Pakistan pretty much whitewashed and they pretty much have the upper hand. But when we talk about Australia, it's hard to believe that. So yeah, it's interesting. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so all these teams are now ready for the big dance to begin.
Yeah.
So I have a news for you. I don't have an umpire's call at all, and I'm blaming it on this beautiful weather I'm dealing with. So today I got nothing. I got nothing other than maybe I would say that at some point this DLS thing, I'm going to make this thing up. At some point we're going to get rid of DLS. Come on. Or we're going to find another algorithm. How about this? We're going to have another algorithm that's more open source, more publicly known, rather than some secret sauce somebody has, right? So that people are like sitting there with their fingers crossed, saying, I hope I don't lose a big match because the DLS is going to bit me in the butt, because it has happened to teams before. You gave an example about South Africa. It has happened to teams. So I'm going to say at some point soon, with all these, algorithmic people, they'll come up with a more open source, more openly understood algorithm that this DLS.
Right. So how do you calculate what the power score is? What it really is the first team, like the team that is batting, their
Yeah.
score times team two's resources. So they're abstractions, right? So team one score times team two resources divided by team one resources.
You
So
gave me a
it
headache.
is an abstraction, huh?
This thing is giving me a headache, but I hear you.
No, there cannot be with cricket with the variations that cricket has with the
Exactly.
obviously you can't really have a foolproof algorithm, but I feel till the time we reach a foolproof algorithm, maybe using AI or whatever, I
No,
think DLS is okay.
no. Because, okay, tell me, if you were to describe cricket in couple of words or a phrase, what do we call cricket? What is the best thing about cricket?
Beautiful uncertainty.
Exactly. A glorious game of uncertainties. And then you bring this formula in. And,
No,
and
no,
I
but
don't.
then what's your suggestion? Like
Whoa, wait,
if
whoa,
a
whoa, whoa,
game,
whoa, whoa.
yeah, if
I'm
a
just a
game,
fan. Hold
He's
on.
No,
just
no,
the
I'm
no.
just a
ideas guy,
fan.
Mama. He's just complaining.
No, 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 I know,
No.
but my point is, right? No, no, no. Hear me out. I understand
Yeah.
you're a fan, and I understand that you may not like DLS. But when a game is, unfortunately, with because of the uncertainty, we don't have stadiums with roofs, right? Um, Weather has a big impact, right? And and in earlier days when there were test matches, it really didn't
Yeah.
matter. You could get a draw. Now you need a result, right? So what do you do in that case? You just say the
Yeah,
game is a draw?
Come on, I
Hmm.
can't believe it. You're justifying. So you're saying DLS is here to stay forever. So my Empire's call is going to get replaced.
I'm saying I'm saying DLS is not here to say, but there will be some kind of algorithm always
Something
trying
that's
so
to decide.
needed.
you
Yeah.
could always pause the game and start it the next day, right? But the way
Yeah.
cricket works, right, financially completely
Yeah,
untenable
Yeah.
to do that, right? Like because of the number of games that are played in these stadiums as well, there's just
Yeah.
no way of just pausing and resuming. And that honestly,
No,
like
that's fair.
it
That's
actually
fair.
is that part of it is not about the sport, right? That is actually about the money around the sport,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
right?
just
So
You
just
have
to
three games going on in the T20 World Cup. You have three games almost every day, and
yeah.
then
mhm,
the next day there are another three games. You're not
mhm.
going to be able to pause and restart it.
One of the uncertainties of the game is that you might have to encounter DLS.
Yeah,
Ooh. Ha,
uncertainty of
ha.
the algorithm. That's a good one.
So selection committee. Siddhi, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, so we're gonna go to diametric opposites, power hitters and death bowlers.
Ooh.
So the classic clash of defense versus max offense. Mama, you go first with the power hitters.
All right.
We're going to evaluate these players purely based on their power hitting ability, right? So
Yep.
maybe if they can play a good cover drive, doesn't matter. Can they clear the field? That's what
Yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
So first, we're gonna have Daryl Mitchell and Rovman Powell.
Powell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rovman Powell or Marcus Stoinis.
Ooh, haven't seen Stoinis play in a while. I'll go with Powell.
Yeah. Rovman Powell or Jason Smith.
Who the heck is Jason Smith?
Okay, someone didn't watch the SA versus West Indies series properly.
Ah, thank you for calling me out. Okay, so
He's South Africa's finisher right now. He's been hitting the ball quite hard.
I know
Yeah.
you mentioned that. Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jatan, you go.
No, I haven't seen him, so I will go with Powell, unfortunately, because
Yeah,
I don't have enough
Okay.
information.
Rovman Powell or Shivam Dubey. I think you know who Dubey is.
I do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll go with Powell still. I think he's more consistent with the hitting.
Okay, and then finally, Rovman Powell or Timothy David. Big
Okay.
Tim.
Yeah.
Shiver me
Timothy.
timbers.
David.
I'll go with Tim David.
Okay, so Tim David is the
I,
winner.
I, I would have gone with Tim David other than if he was playing for Mumbai Indians, where he probably just didn't do anything for us. So
Any
he's a big
players you
bust.
felt I missed out on from other than Hardik Pandya, which I thought, I mean, let's do it. Hardik Pandya or Tim David, Mama.
Hardik Pandya.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't include him because I knew you would just choose him because he is
But but
yeah, you should, as you should. So similarly for the death bowlers,
Yep.
Baba, you're not
Yep.
gonna get just Preet Bumrah on the list because
Ooh.
that's just too easy, right? Why do
that's
Okay.
too
that?
easy.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
okay.
Totally fair.
So first we're gonna go Shamar Joseph or Shaheen Shah Afridi, the Eagle.
Shane Shafridi.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's still
Shaheen
Shaheen
Shah
Shah Afridi.
Afridi or KG Rabada.
Kasiga
Kagiso.
Rabada.
Kagiso.
Kagiso Rabada. Yeah.
Kagiso Rabada.
Yep.
Kagiso Rabada or Jofra Archer.
Oh, Rabada, hands down.
Yeah, yeah. Kagiso Rabada or Arshdeep Singh.
Ooh, I knew that was coming. Uh, Arshdeep.
Oh, really?
100%.
Hmm.
Arshdeep
It looks
Bhai.
like Mama would have a problem if Baba was on India's selection committee too, huh?
No, no, I won't go that far. But if I have to choose between Rabada and Arshdeep in my team, I'll
Oh,
probably go
death
with.
bowl only death bowling though. Just only about death
No,
bowling.
I got you. Exactly.
Mm,
Yep.
mm.
And then
Uh,
finally, last but not least, Arshdeep Singh or Nathan Ellis, Mama's favorite.
Arshdeep.
I, yeah, I think Prashant hasn't
Definitely.
seen
Definitely.
Ellis enough.
Not enough. But
Yeah,
I would go with Arshdeep because I'll be honest with you. He's again one of those bowlers that just runs in and has that kind of energy, and he's a thinking bowler, swinging bowler. I mean, I really like him, and he's performing. He's at
yeah.
the top of the game right now. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
for sure,
No doubts, no
Arshdeep Singh.
doubts.
And then he
All
plays
right,
with Bumrah. I mean, that's what makes it even
that
more
would help.
interesting. Yeah.
No, that's what I got for today.
At some point, you mentioned about Adil Rashid, I think, Siddharth, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just to talk about it a bit. Um, in one of the selection committee last time, I think I had picked Santner over Rashid, and I again saw one of those, expressions on Jatan's face again, like he doesn't know what. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going with blah blah blah, and he's like, you can't go with emotions. But it looks like Adil Rashid is a genuine threat
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and a genuine, like amazing, like spin bowler. Yeah.
but that my expressions are just for me, my opinions.
Yeah, no,
I
no, I hear you. But they
yeah, I
matter to
mean,
me. They matter to me. See, what's interesting is in T20 when it started, again, I'm just speculating here a little bit. You thought spinners are not going to play much role, right? It's like, oh, it's so easy. We're going to hit it out. It's almost the other way around. It's difficult to hit. I
it's hard.
think so. One of our selection committee could be like, would
Mm-hmm.
you rather face a genuine spinner or a genuine, really good fast bowler? Like spinners play such a
Spinner.
crucial role.
Spinner. Not even close. Because I don't have the chance of getting my head like knocked off of my neck.
Yeah, yeah.
No
Uh,
chance that I'm gonna
and
get a 145 click bouncer. So I'll take the spinner every day.
an interesting point, right, with Indian spinners, right? My one of my whatever MVP was Kuldeep Yadav, and he may not even make it to the 11. I might have to eat my words there, because with Varun and Akshar, which again, since he's the vice captain, he's going to play all games. Probably Kuldeep's not even going to be playing a lot of the games. So something to think. That's the spin depth
Yeah,
that
you had mentioned
India
about
has.
exactly Akshar Patel and yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like don't make the perfection enemy of the good sometimes, right? They say just pick a good option. So maybe just to wrap up our episode 8 of the Cow Corner. Hopefully people have enjoyed our new intro music, which we are really fired up about.
Oh yeah.
This is Prashant and then Jatan and Siddharth.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This episode was produced by Mukta Phatak. Music by Joe Reynolds.